Hey everyone, it's Vicki Weber with At Home Author, and today I'm answering one of the most burning questions that I get. How do you illustrate a children's picture book when you are not an artist? Now, before we go any further, make sure you like and subscribe for more videos just like this. All right, so anytime I am talking to other people and I'm having conversations and the fact that I'm a children's book author comes up and someone says, oh, I really want to do that too, the next question out of their mouth 9 times out of 10 is, well, how do you get the art? Or I can't draw to save my life, or, I'm not an artist. How does the art work? How does the illustration work? And it's crazy to me because illustration is one of the later steps in the process. And so, when they're asking these questions in my head, I'm like, oh, why are they jumping to this? But the reason is because the art is so exciting. It tells a big part of the story. It's the reason somebody picks up a book or doesn't. And so when someone is thinking about becoming a children's book author, that's where our minds jump to. We've tried to visualize what our story could look like and what it would feel like to hold it in our hands. It's near impossible to not envision what that might look like. So it's really easy to fall into the trap of trying to get it illustrated soon, trying to get it to that point as quickly as possible. And the reason why I wanted to jump on this video is because I get tons of questions about this, and it's a lot easier than you'd think, but there's also a lot more layers to it that the average person doesn't realize. I didn't realize it myself until I, dove headfirst into the industry. So let me break it down into 2 steps, 2 simple steps. Step number 1 to illustrate a children's book when you are not an artist is to use art notes inside your manuscript. So if you've ever opened up a children's picture book and there is a page or there's something in the art that is important to the story but is nowhere to be found in the text, that is an instance where the author used art notes to explain in the manuscript what should be pictured there. Now, art notes are super powerful and there's a lot that goes into them, but you don't want to be super basic with it. Art notes are for the things that will make or break the story. So you don't want to use art notes for things like, this person is walking down the street. If the text says they're walking down the street, then the illustrator will be able to tell that someone's walking down the street. You don't have to tell them that. Art notes are for the things that the text doesn't tell us. Like maybe what a character looks like, if that's important to the story, or what a character's facial expression is, if that's important to the story and the text doesn't say it. So that's really what art notes are for. It's the kind of at a glance where somebody could look at the book without the art and still envision what the art might look like and get the full picture there. Now, step 2, this is something that we teach far more in depth inside the Profitable Picture Books program. If you have not looked into that, I highly recommend you do. It is such a supportive community, but it's also a great way to get live, actionable feedback on what you're doing, because it's one thing to know how to do something. It's another thing to apply it to something that is that personal to you. So I'll put a link in the description below for you to learn more about that, or you can just visit the At Home Author website. Step number 2 to get your children's book illustrated, if you are not an artist, is to decide on your publishing route. And I know that might sound confusing, but it is so important because traditional publishing and self-publishing are very different. If you want to be traditionally published, then you write your story, polish it to perfection. You self-edit, you get feedback, you get this thing publication ready, which, if I'm being honest here, will take more than just a few drafts. Some of my own manuscripts, I'll go through like 10, 12 drafts before it's ready for me to send off to the next step of traditional publishing. So your first draft is not illustration ready. It's not supposed to be. First drafts are really just to get your ideas down on paper. so that you can start making the changes and the tweaks and the revisions to make your book, like to take it from good to great, right? And to make it better match your vision for it, and to get what's in your head accurately on the page. And that takes time and that takes feedback. So if you want to be traditionally published, you do all of that with your manuscript. You get it publication ready, and then you query agents. Now, you can be traditionally published without an agent, but there are very few traditional publishers who accept unagented submissions. So especially if you want to be published by a big name publisher, or you just want to open up your possibilities, you'll really want to query agents. I'll put some resources in the description below that will help you query agents and prep for traditional publishing. But really the best resource is my coaching program. So you'll start querying agents, and once you secure one, an agent will then pitch your book to traditional publishers. A traditional publisher is not only free for you to use, they pay you and they produce the book, which means they handle the illustrations. They will hire the illustrator, they will pay the illustrator, they will handle the contracts with the illustrator, they will format the book, they will do all the things to produce the book so you can focus on writing. Okay? If you want to be self-published, you are the publisher. And I'm not going to lie, it's going to be expensive. So in order to illustrate a self-published book, what you first do is you do all those good things with your manuscript. You write it, you draft, you self-edit, you revise, and then you get it professionally edited multiple times. We have a really great video on the 4 types of editing that every manuscript needs, no matter how you're publishing, no matter who you are. So I highly recommend that you check that out. And if you need more help or more resources, make sure you check the description below. So you get it professionally edited more than once, and then you hire a freelance illustrator. It really is as simple as it sounds. Now, working with the illustrator is an entirely different thing. You need to have a contract in place. You need to know what you have the rights to and what you don't. You need to plan out the timeline. You need to make sure they have everything they need up front. You need to ask if they do professional formatting or if you'll need to hire somebody after the fact. And then you have to actually be involved in the whole process. So what it comes down to is getting those illustrations for your book really depends on which publishing route you want to choose. There are so many people out there that will say traditional publishing is best, and here's why. Self-publishing is best, and here's why. The reality is that what might be a pro for one publishing route for me could be a con for you. So when you're choosing your route, you really need to think about what is best for you and your goals and your budget and your time constraints and your interests. If you don't want to be heavily involved in the process, then self-publishing might not be the best fit for you. If you like being hyper involved in the process, then traditional publishing might not feel like the right fit. I have a whole video on the 8 pros and cons, the 8 factors to consider when you're choosing between the 2 publishing routes. Or again, joining my coaching program has all the tutorials, the quizzes, and the live support that you need to help you make that decision. So that's what you need to do. You need to get your story written, polish it to perfection, and then think about which publishing route you want to go down before you do anything else. If you could, I would love to see in the comments which publishing route you're leaning towards and what questions you still have. As always, I hope that this has been helpful, and I cannot wait to see what you create.